Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs. In today's video, I have 4 new shopping bags. These are all ready for Halloween. I have 2 small and 2 larger ones, taller ones. They can be filled with candy, little treats, goodies. You can use them to give to your favorite little trick-or-treaters, your children, your neighbors. Make great co-worker, teacher gifts, classroom gifts, so many uses. So like I said, I have 2 smaller ones and then I have 2 of the taller ones. Now I have done a lot of these shopping bags before. People seem to really like them. They're one of my better sellers. But I did shrink these down just a hair, the taller ones. I've had a few people actually ask me if I could make these so that they would fit a letter size paper. And so that's what I've done. All of these can now be cut out of a letter size paper. So if you have some of the previous ones, they might be just a hair smaller, but that's okay. You really can't tell the difference. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our mummy shopping bag. This is one of the tall ones. And I'll show you the pieces that come with it and how I'm going to decorate this up. So we have 2 little hands, and I did my hands in black. We have a printable that says "Some Mummy Loves You," and you can use this one or you can leave it blank, hand stamp, write in something, or not even put a sentiment at all on it. And then we have the background for that right here. We have 2 eyebrows. We have a set of eyes, and they do have the holes cut out. Then we actually have the mummy wrapping, and on this one we have a background piece and then the bag. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the bag and we are going to score it. So there, if I turn it so the tab is on top, there's a score line right along the top. And then there are tabs along the bottom. There's 4 of them. 2 longer ones and 2 smaller ones. In the middle, you have 3 score lines. So the first one is going to score down. The middle score line is going to score up. And it does not have to be absolutely perfect. It's just for the bend in your bag. And then the bottom one, or the third one, scores down. That middle one does come to a Y, but you don't really need to score those. It'll just kind of do it on its own. And then on the bottom, you have a top score line and a middle score line with the Y. So that top score line, we're going to fold it down. And the middle one, we're going to score up, and that is the Y again. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and decorate it. I like to decorate the same side as the tab. That way from the front, nope, I did that wrong. I like to decorate the opposite side of the tab. That way from the front you don't see the seam. But it really doesn't matter a whole lot. So I'm going to take my black background piece, and I'm going to use my tape runner. I just use the Scotch ATG gun. That's my favorite. But when I get up to this handle piece, I am going to use some glue right around the handle because the ATG is a little bit too thick, and I want to make sure that I get that adhered down. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. And the hole goes around the handle so that it's kind of an offset. Not sure that I got that perfectly straight. And then we have our mummy wrap. Now there's a couple of things that you could do. You could take a Sharpie and draw stitch lines around it if you wanted to, and that would be super, super cute. You could ink it up a little bit if you wanted to, which is what I'm going to do. And you can do that either using the distress crayons or your ink pad. We're going to attempt the ink pad. This might be dead, and I may end up having to use the distress crayons, which is fine. That's what I normally use. Oh, it's awfully green. This is an old stamp pad. And I'm just going to do really light. You could go a lot heavier if you wanted to, or you don't even have to do this option. It just kind of gives it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of variety. But you decide. If you're doing a whole bunch of these for like a class, I don't know that I'd worry about it. But you can. A lot of times if I have a lot of pieces that I want to distress, I will just put in a movie and do all of my distressing all at once while I have the movie or a show on or something. Let's get the top there. Okay, so now I'm going to, this one I am going to use my glue because I've got a really thin line right up there at the top. And then I want to make sure that it is next to all of those cutout lines. And in the corners real good so it doesn't pop up. Flip it over and we are going to lay that right on top of the black so that the shadow's pretty much even all the way around. Okay. For the back of your bag, you could duplicate this black piece and put it on there, or you can leave it blank. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the eyes. So I'm going to glue my eyes on. And they do have the holes cut out so the white shows through. You don't have a lot of tiny parts on this one. Those that don't like all the little teeny pieces, this is your card or your box. And then we have the eyebrows, and I am going to ink those up as well. Just a little bit. Again, give them some definition, some dimension. And depending on the way you put your eyebrows on, you can make him a happy mummy or a grumpy mummy. Whatever look you're going for. The eyebrows is really what's going to make it that way. Okay, I'm going to put my eyebrows on with foam pop dots. You don't have to do that. You can just glue them directly on there if you want to. I'm going to do 2 little thin slices of the foam. This is the foam that I use. I just ordered it on Amazon, but a lot of your craft stores have it as well. And I like using it on the big rolls because then I can make it the size that I want. And it also comes in black, so if you're doing a black project, you can do that. We're just going to overlap those eyebrows a little bit onto the eyes. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take my sign. We might as well ink it up a little bit too, just for the heck of it, right? Since we're here and we're doing this. And I'm going to glue it to the back piece. And then I'm going to use some foam for this piece as well. Just have him holding that. I'm not going to put the hands on until I have folded the back. So next, I want to go ahead and put tape on my long tab and the 2 smaller tabs. I'm going to do the long side tab, flip it over, and I'm going to do the 2 smaller tabs. Then flip it over to the back, and we want to get those longer bottom tabs. Okay. All we need to do now is fold this over so that those side pieces match right along the seam or the score line. Then we're going to fold in the back piece. And I did that wrong. It'll still work. We're going to fold in the 2 tabs, the 2 smaller tabs, and then the top tab. And I really should have done those the opposite way that I did them. This will still work. And then if you need to, you can take scissors or a ruler or something long and press down on that. So there's our little mummy. Now let's add his hands. I'm going to just take some glue and I'm going to do it right on the round part of his hand so that it's just on the sign. And there is our little Some Mummy Loves You. This would be the perfect size for a candy bar or some treats, and then you can just tie that closed. Okay, so let's do our Frankenstein. He goes together pretty much the same way. You have 2 hands. You have a little sign that says trick or treat, and the background to the sign. You have a tongue and the mouth. You have a nose, 2 eyebrows, 2 eyeballs, and 2 eyes. You have his stitch marks, his hair. This is his face, and again, you could cut a second one out and put it on the back if you wanted to, and then his bolts. So we're going to go ahead and score this. I just did it on the mummy, but you're going to score everything down with the exception of the inside lines on the side. Those get scored up. So I've already done this, but let's just make sure that they're all still nice and crisp. Those are all done. Okay, so we are going to build on the opposite side of the tab so that we don't have a seam in the front. On this one, you want to add your bolts first because they go, whoa. You want to add your bolts first because they go underneath your face piece. But you don't want glue on the 2 pieces that extend, otherwise they'll be glued to the side of your bag and then it won't fold. So all I'm going to do is just put it in the middle. It kind of looks like an eye, and we're just going to do the letter I, and we're just going to do that middle piece and then kind of come down here and decide how far down you want it. If you want to measure your hair so that works. Okay, then we'll go ahead and add the face piece. I'm going to, actually, you know what? I am going to ink this one up as well, but I'm going to use my distress crayons. So I'm going to take my green and my makeup sponge. I keep bumping that camera, so sorry. I'm gonna get you all sick. And we're just gonna do along the edge. And I'm doing this really super quick. You could take a little more time and make it look a little more professional if you wanted to. Or you don't have to do that at all. I just, what decides it for me is when I'm working with layers that are all the same color, that's when I kind of like to add the distressing because it gives those layers a little bit more dimension and distinction. And you can go as heavy or as light as you want. And I did the top, and you don't even need to worry about the top because the hair is going to cover it. A little bit more over there. Okay, we're going to flip it over and put tape along the sides, in the middle, the bottom. And then I am going to take my glue and do right around the handle with the glue so that that's on there and it won't pop open. So now we can bring this back over to our bag and line it up in between the score lines and around the handle hole. We're going to do the same thing with our black. We're going to glue it on. You want to make sure it's pretty good on those corners. Okay. And now we can do the eyes. So next up, we want to take our eyes and decide how we want them. I kind of like to off-center them, but you can do them however you want. And we're going to do the eyeballs. You can have them looking straight ahead, cross-eyed, down, up. We'll do that. Let's take our ink again, and we are going to highlight the eyebrows. If you didn't want to highlight, but you wanted them to be different, you could cut these out of 2 different shades as well. So like a lighter shade for his face, and then his nose and everything, you could do a darker shade of green. Okay, we're going to take his nose and we're going to highlight it as well. Whoops. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do his hands also. Get some more ink on there. When we get to the smaller ones, I don't think I'm going to ink those. Well, we'll see. I say that and then we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and add the nose and the eyebrows. And again, I'm going to use the foam tape. So I'm just going to cut some smaller pieces off of there. And I did not leave very much room for his scar or stitches. We may have to move him. So next we have the scar, or the stitches. And normally I put them up there, but I didn't give myself enough room. So we're going to do it right down here. When you put this together, remember that you've got these little stitches and that they need to go on there as well. You could actually even do them, maybe we'll do them down below under his mouth. Let's do that. Okay, so then we have his mouth. And the tongue. That will dry clear. And then we have the trick or treat sign. So we're going to glue that right here to our little banner piece. Trick or treat could be left blank, and you could put something else on there, a stamp, or write your own sentiment, or just leave it completely off. And then I'm going to put that on with foam as well. There we go. Hold off on putting the hands until we have folded this up and assembled it. So we are going to put tape along the side tab, the long tab, and then on the long tabs on the bottom. I did that wrong on the last one. It still worked, but it folds up a little bit better. So I did it along the long tab on the side and the two smaller tabs on the bottom. Fold it over and get the shorter tabs. Okay, let's fold that in so that that edges all match up. I have these sitting on my desk, and a couple of the corners got crimped. Okay, then we're going to put the back tab down first, the two smaller tabs, and I still did that wrong, and the top tab. That one didn't need glue on it. So just ignore what I said and just glue those together. Okay, then we're going to do glue or foam for the little paws, or little hands. I guess Frankenstein doesn't have paws, he has hands. And I'm going to just glue those down. There is our Frankenstein little shopping bag. So cute. Okay, let's do the candy corn. This one is a little bit different in that it does have the front and the back pieces, but it goes together really quickly. So I've already done that one so that you can see how it goes together. We're going to score everything down. And then fold those middle lines on the side up. Okay, on this one, you could ink these up if you wanted to, but you don't have to. I'm going to just put glue on the top piece so that I can get around the handle. And I am going to start with the top. So on this one, you really do want to make sure that that top piece goes around the handle. And then we have our yellow piece. And those you could do with the tape runner. And then we have our orange piece. So we have those three pieces and we have it twice. Then we have the background and we have our candy corn cutie, little sign, little sentiment. And I do think I'm going to pop dot that one as well. My hands are getting covered in glue. Okay, we're going to put tape on this side and on the two smaller tabs. Nope. I'm going to put tape on the side. We're going to skip this one and then put it on the front tab. Then we're going to flip it over and put it on the bottom tabs. The smaller shopping bags are a little bit wider than the tall one. That's why those tabs look like they're so much bigger. It's just because the bag itself is wider, but not as tall. Okay, so now we're going to get that edge. Fold the back one in first. Fold the two sides in. Did that backwards. Fold that one in, the two sides. And the bottom. There we go. My tape runner is not sticking very good. There we go. And there is our candy corn cutie box. Wouldn't that be so fun, filled with a whole bunch of candy corns, if you love them? Candy corns are not my favorite, but my husband loves them. Okay, the last one is a little tiny bit different, and this is our coffin. So you have Open If You Dare with the background. On the back, you have a solid piece if you choose to use it. You have two bats. You have the front of the coffin and the background of the coffin and the box, or the bag. So we're going to go ahead and score all of these down. And then on the side piece, you have 3 lines in the middle and 2 on the bottom. We're going to score the top down, the middle up, the top down. This is a little bit thinner cardstock. I can feel it. The top down, the middle up. So the front of this is going to be opposite the tab. And I'm going to take my coffin and glue it on first. And it goes almost straight from the top to the bottom and from side to side. It's a little bit showing through, but not much. And then we can take the top of the coffin and do the same thing. And that time the black shows all the way around and through the handle. This piece, if you choose to use it, goes on the back, which is the side with the tab. Then we have the Open If You Dare. That. And I am going to pop dot all of this. I'm going to do the bats and the Open If You Dare with the foam tape. This would be really pretty inked up and kind of given it a rustic look, or if you had an embossing folder. That would be really fun to do the inside of your coffin, or even some paper, some pattern paper would be really cool, just to give that a different kind of look. I was hoping I had some spiderweb paper, and I didn't. And I didn't have time to make any digital, so that's, I think, would have been really cool. And I'm actually just going to pop dot this top one. I think I'm going to glue the other one on. We don't want everything 3D on here. And you could ink these up as well if you wanted to. Okay. And I have put tape on these a different way every time. We're gonna put it along the side, and we're gonna put it along the two smaller ones. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put it on this top one. We'll see if we got that right. Okay. Fold that over so that you get a nice crisp corner on the edge. Pop it open. We're going to flip the back down first, the two sides, and then the top. And there is our coffin shopping bag. So I hope that you have enjoyed these shopping bags and that you'll give them a try. They will make perfect little trick-or-treat gifts for just about anybody on your list. Thank you for joining me today. Please hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of my videos. Give me a thumbs up. Happy Halloween, and have a great day.